The following is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on News Talk 580 KMJ and 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Good morning, Central California. I'm your host, Craig Barton. Only 13 more days until summer's over, or something like that.
I thought you say something like Christmas. I was like, whoa.
No. That's much farther off. Only 3 weeks to Thanksgiving, 4.5 to Christmas, just so you know.
That's not funny.
Hey, it's a slippery slope to the year end, right, Rick?
Absolutely.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, when you're old like us, it just time sure flies when you get up at 3 a.m. I'm just kidding.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, my gosh.
What is wrong with that? Jeez.
Good morning. What's wrong with that? I'm sorry. Now she's thinking.
I'm at my best then.
Yes, I know you are.
I'm on my downhill right now.
I know you are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Radio Fresno, the most important hour of radio each week here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted financial advice, and that's exactly what you're going to hear every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. And this year, we're not preempted by the Raiders.
Yay!
Johnny, yay! Here
Yay
on News
for
Talk
no
580, 105.9 KMJ. Yeah, the Raiders, they went to another station, sounds like. And Derek Carr is going to start.
Yes.
That's the latest.
That's
Matt Schaub has a boo-boo. And
a boo-boo.
I don't know necessarily that it's the boo-boo that's going to keep him on the bench. I just think it's that Derek's got charisma. And he's got the big guy on his side. And I'm not talking about his brother.
Charisma. Are there charisma points in football? Did I miss that?
I think there is. You can be you can be a great athlete and not a great leader. And I think charisma plays a huge part in that. You can be a great athlete and people can not really care for you or not really care about playing for you. So that's why it's so important. I think charisma is a huge variable. What do you think, John? Yeah, see, Johnny says yes.
Because he's full of charisma, that's why.
We've got Lisa Casso, Client Care Coordinator from Dollar Light Homes.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm fabulous.
Good.
Nothing new to report. No more grandkids on the way. Yay!
It's only been a couple weeks, but just give them time.
Please.
And we're very fortunate. We've got Rick Ransom from Reverse Mortgages for Seniors. We're going in reverse this morning on today's show, aren't we, Rick?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the only way to fly.
It's only the only way to fly. A reverse mortgage. We're going to talk about exactly how old you have to be to qualify for a reverse mortgage. And we're going to dispel also some of the myths that folks might have or might just have about a reverse mortgage. And no, we don't have Henry Winkler or Fred Thompson in the studio this morning.
Thank God.
To dispel those myths.
And we're not giving away the magnifying glasses or anything like that?
If you call today, call 1-800-REV-SENIOR. That's 1-800-REV-SENIOR. And we'll also send you this amazing, handy-dandy little spyglass.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And Fonz has one. So come on.
So it's got to be great. Now, we're doing even better. We've got Rick Ransom here in the studio. Rick has, amongst other things, you are a CPA. We're one of the first lenders here in the state of California to actually do reverse mortgages.
That's correct.
Back in the day. So we're going to dispel some of the myths. We're going to educate our listeners and make sure that they understand that this could be an amazing tool that they use to plan for their retirement. We're going to also talk today about not just folks that need the money, but we're also going to talk about some of the stories that Rick has encountered for folks that don't necessarily need the money, but have been borrowing it for various reasons. So thanks so much for being here.
It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. The Real Estate Radio Network gives us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for one full hour and for one full sweet and spicy hour this Sunday morning each and every week. Our goal with the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth. Johnny is in complete horror right at the moment.
He's sweet and spicy.
He is sweet and spicy. About your local real estate and financial markets, we are going to share with you some financial secrets that the big banks and Wall Street don't want you to hear. So we can help bring you back home. Well, on today's show, Fresno median home prices surpass $200,000. So it's a good thing, but there's some other stats that we have to make sure that we keep our mind, that we keep our eye trained on. And also Gen Xers. Did you know that most Gen Xers statewide are 50% of those polled in the state of California are actually upside down on their mortgages?
It's not surprising.
It's not surprising. It's not surprising based upon that age and when they actually borrowed that they would have really got caught under the right front tire of the Great Recession. Or the
right front tire.
Yeah, the right front tire. I will say it that way. We're also going to take some listener questions, so make sure you stay with us. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, we'd really love to have the opportunity to be a resource for you. If you have questions about listing your home, or let's say you have a question that, let's say you applied for credit and your credit scores didn't quite pass the muster. At least that's what the lender told you. So you'd like to learn more about getting your credit scores up. Or let's say you have stuff, as we always say, you have stuff, and you need an estate planner. How do you create a trust? And how do you protect your stuff from fees that your estate shouldn't necessarily have to pay? Or you need a CPA. Or let's say you're looking for a piece of real estate and you'd like some advice about, hey, tell me a little bit about the market. What's the market doing in Fresno County where I want to buy? We'd love to be a resource for you. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. I have to add, this is our off-air number, 800-979-3958. So you can call us during the show. You can call us after the show throughout the week. You can also take us with you wherever you go and listen to us online on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website. You can begin the search for your next home by going to valleywidesells.com. Let's take a look at today's hot property. Today's hot property is brought to you by our friend, Bert Welsh. Bert Welsh. Gotta love him.
It just always makes me smile.
Bert, doesn't he, though? Bert Welsh from Win Home Inspections. Bert is capable of taking care of all your home inspection needs. If you'd like to get in contact with Bert, give him a call. 559-363-4080. Again, 559-363-4080. Today's hot property is 811 Claremont Avenue in Sanger, California. This 2,797 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story home, former model, with over $80,000.
What does that mean exactly? What does $80,000 in builder upgrades give you?
Well, $80,000 in builder upgrades gives you, as an example, upgraded floor coverings as far as tiles concerned, upgraded carpet as well as padding is concerned, upgraded window treatments all throughout the house.
Beautiful.
They are really absolutely beautiful. Upgraded wallpaper, upgrading ceiling fans. I mean, the list is really seriously too long to list. You can get more information by going to our website and searching on the very right-hand side of our page, about 2/3 of the way down. You can click on the Team Barton sign and get more information about this hot property. Again, it's 811 Claremont. List price is $299,900. If you'd like more information or you'd like to schedule a private showing, give us a call anytime. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. And we'll send you more information about this hot property right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Well, Fresno median home prices surpass $200,000. Well, it took us a while to get from $150 to $200. We're right at about $205 right at the moment, which marks a 7% increase in prices in Fresno County. But we've also seen roughly about a 12% drop in the number of sales year over year from July of 2013 to July of 2014. And we've also had, and I know you're asking the question, so what exactly does this mean, Craig? Inventory has increased by almost 20% from a year ago. We were trending roughly about 1,600 active listings. Now we're a little over 2,000 active listings. REOs, real estate owned, or foreclosures make up roughly about 4% of the active inventory. Short sales also make up about 4% of the inventory. So a little over 92% of the active inventory is traditional, or what we would consider mom and pop. There are some flippers that are in there that are that's still their business model. They're still doing it out there. But what I think that means is that this is the road back to normal. You see inventory increasing, you see prices slowing, you see the number of sales down. Now, the number of sales don't appear to be down over the last 6 months. It's really that year total that shows that the number of sales total are down. But inventory is up as well. So, again, simple economics, simple supply and demand. You're going to see that we are going to, as opposed to being up 7% year over year, it's going to be closer to 3 to 5%. And economists typically say 4% is what we should see. That is normal. So
that article, I read that article, and it screamed equilibrium. I could hear you say it in my head.
You could hear me screaming equilibrium.
I said, this is a Craig.
This is a Craig article.
Yeah.
So is it any wonder that Gen Xers remain deepest underwater on home mortgages? Nearly half of all mortgages that are still underwater in the state of California are held by homeowners aged 35 to 49. Now, according to a report this last Tuesday from the real estate website Zillow. Now, of course, it has to be true, so because Zillow said it. Sorry. Did I sound a little facetious or a little negative there? I hope I didn't. Well, Eddie, get your input as far as you've got, again, this Gen X group, 35 to 49. So just exactly 2002 is when we began to see really, it was the beginning of the run-up as far as home prices were concerned. By the beginning of 2007, we were done. So that's 7 years ago. So those folks were, 28 to 42?
I can tell you because I'm in there.
You're in that.
Barely.
Any wonder why those folks got caught really in that run-up? Seriously, if you think there were so many folks in Fresno County, Fresno, Madera, Kings and Tulare counties that thought at the time of the run-up that this may be the only time in their life that they are going to be able to afford a home. So what kind of sense of urgency do you think, or a sense of panic, did it create amongst this group?
Absolutely.
And I think it's pretty relevant here that almost 50%. It's pretty amazing.
Sad. Too bad they're not close to 62.
Yeah, we could hook them up. Well,
couldn't help them.
Couldn't help them.
Oh, yeah, because they're upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's give them another 20 years. Maybe it'll work out for them.
And there you go. And then they'll call you.
You know, that maybe you could talk to their folks, and their folks could actually borrow some money on their home that's free and clear.
They probably folks already did.
Already did.
Yeah.
That's where they got the down.
That's where they got the down payment
on the property they bought. Are you thinking of selling your home but not sure what professional to ask exactly what your home is worth? Well, if you want to know more about what your home is worth, this is a free service. Just go to our website, valleywidehomevalues.com. That's valleywidehomevalues.com. Go to click on what your home is, or what is your home worth. Tell us a little bit about your home, and we'll generate a totally free market analysis about exactly what we believe, given current market dynamics, what your home is worth. It's a good little service.
It is a great service. And you get a really immediate response, too.
You really do. We actually upgraded that just recently, and it's actually, it's you put the numbers in, and it tells you right now exactly what your property's worth. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or a topic that you'd love for us to address here on the air, it all starts with one call. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We would love to take your calls. We'd also love to take your questions. Take us with you wherever you go, and listen to us online at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website and search for your next home. Go there now during the commercial break. Go to valleywidesells.com. Well, coming up after the break, we are very fortunate to have our reverse mortgage expert here in the studio. We've got Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors to help talk about and give you a little clarity on who actually can qualify for a reverse mortgage, and address, I'm sure, some of the questions that you have about making a reverse mortgage part of your retirement strategy. Make sure you stay with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate. You're on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing in wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm John Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as we mentioned, we are very fortunate, as always, to have our friend Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors here in the studio this morning to talk about reverse mortgages. Good morning, bud.
Good morning, Craig. How are you today?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
Good. Lisa, nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
For those of you that actually listened through the commercial break, Rick has not only been originating mortgages in the state of California since the turn of the century.
Close. Not the 20th either.
Not the 20th either, exactly. But he's also a CPA, so there's a tremendous amount of background there that really helps folks. Again, we want to do business with people that we know, that we like, and that we trust. That's why Rick is one of our trusted advisors. So we're going to talk about reverse mortgages this morning. Rick, tell our listeners exactly what are some of the qualifications. What is a reverse mortgage?
I'm happy to. First of all, a reverse mortgage is a generic term, and the mortgage that we do now, the mortgage that we originate, is called a home equity conversion mortgage, or a HECM, H-E-C-M. So in the industry now, whenever you hear the term reverse mortgage, basically everyone's talking about the same thing, which is the home equity conversion mortgage, or HECM, which is an FHA-insured loan.
So that's what Henry Winkler and Fred Thompson, that's what the big boys are talking about.
Everybody drinks from from the same well when it comes to
or Kool-Aid.
Yeah, whatever. No, let's hope not. Let's leave the Kool-Aid at home. Yeah. So the rules are the same for everybody, and we basically all we play by the same set of rules. In order to qualify for a reverse mortgage, you must be 62 years old, and you must own and occupy your principal residence. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to own it free and clear, but title has to be in your name, and you have to own it. And you have to live there as your primary residence. So even if you have an existing mortgage, we can still do a reverse mortgage and pay off your current mortgage. That's one of the advantages of it. Another advantage, and the Gen Xers might be interested in this, there's no income or credit history required to qualify for a reverse mortgage. Also, there's no asset requirements. So since this is a refinance loan, all of the fees and so forth are paid for through the proceeds of the loan, so we don't care about how much money somebody has,
right,
or what their credit is, or what their income is, because they don't have to make a payment.
Now, let me summarize real quick. And the reason I say this, I always try to keep things light here because I don't want us to get too terribly serious. So, Rick,
am I getting too serious?
No. You're not getting too serious. But I can
lighten up.
I'm definitely going to stir the pot, though. No, this sounds very 2004. And the reason I say very 2004 is this. No income. No credit. Actually, that's even worse than 2004, because in 2004, and I'm being facetious to a certain degree.
That's your nature.
It is. It's part of.
Is that light enough for you?
Yeah, there you go. No, I like it. No credit, no income, no assets. It requires an appraisal. You must be 62 years of age. Mm-hmm. And take it a step further. Mm-hmm. You have to no longer make payments on your mortgage once this mortgage is closed. You're still responsible for taxes and insurances, because obviously you must protect your home, that asset, and you must always keep your property taxes current. But for those folks that are 62 years or older, and wasn't there a change recently that at least one of the borrowers had to be 62, but the other one?
There has been a change. You can have a non-borrowing spouse now. In order to be a borrower, you had to be 62 years old, and that was creating a lot of problems. And so they have changed the rules so that you can have now a non-borrowing spouse.
See, I knew what you were thinking. Those dirty old men, they all had younger wives that were 20 years.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm sorry. That was the vibe that I was getting. It was actually from Lisa. I'm so sorry. So no credit, no income, no assets. You have to have the property appraised, and if you have a spouse that is younger than 62, you can still get a reverse mortgage, and it cancels out that payment, meaning that whatever you borrow, and it's typically what you're able to borrow up to
75%, but you need to be quite a bit older to do that. Most people borrow between 60 and 65% of the home's value.
But isn't that amazing? It really is amazing to me and you don't have to make any more payments.
You forgot one thing. This is not like 2004, because that's true. There is no income, and no asset requirements, but you have to have equity in your home in order to qualify for a reverse mortgage.
Oh, you got me.
So
Gosh,
see there,
man.
see those Gen Xers you were talking about. We can't
they can just hold tight for 20 years, right? Something to look forward to.
No, in 2004, when those Gen Xers were borrowing, they were actually able to borrow somewhere between 95 and 100% of the value, the appraised value of their property at that point in time. So it was pretty aggressive.
It was.
Yeah. So in a lot of instances, we've kind of highlighted there real quickly qualifications, what you did need, what you didn't need. And it's pretty straightforward that if you are able to borrow, you're able to cancel that payment. So those are folks that really need to get that loan to help them out, because for whatever reason, we know that very few, and I just saw this stat just recently, do you know what we saved nationally last year as Americans? Negative 2%.
Is there? I would be surprised if there was a positive.
Yeah, it was negative 2%. So what that tells me is that a lot of folks just haven't, and I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer, but a lot of folks, you can't stick your head in the sand and expect that it's going to get better. So if you failed to plan, you're really planning to fail, and you get down the road, and you may not have a retirement, you may not have a 401k, you may not have, may not be a member of STRS or PERS, which is a very small percentage of the population, and ultimately when the day is done, and you can't afford to feed yourself or yourself and your wife because, and the kids that have moved back in with you, because that's a hot trend, maybe even grandkids at that point. But my point is it cancels that particular debt, meaning that it doesn't cancel what you borrowed, it just cancels the payment. So let's give our listeners some examples of those folks that actually applied for and took out a reverse mortgage that didn't necessarily need the money.
But they want the money. That's right. A reverse mortgage is not one of the fallacies of a reverse mortgage is that it's only people who are low income are eligible for a reverse mortgage, and that's not true. As I said, there is no income requirement.
Makes you more motivated for a reverse mortgage.
Yes, it does. Yeah, there's no income or asset requirement, but there's also no limit on how much income you can have or what your asset base is. Now,
it really is a great point.
It is, and with a lot of loans that are geared towards low-income people, there are limits on how much money you can make or how much you can have. There is no limit either direction with a reverse mortgage, and what I'm seeing more and more now are people who are financially sound, and I'm not talking about, well, I am talking about multimillionaires, and I can go into that, but people who are financially sound and don't necessarily need a reverse mortgage to maintain their lifestyle, but they use a reverse mortgage to enhance their lifestyle. And even though that's not what the mortgage was originally created for, it does add an added benefit to a mortgage, and I'm seeing a lot of people who don't need the money but who want the money, who are turning to a reverse mortgage for a variety of reasons.
What are some of the reasons that you've seen them actually wanting the money for?
Well, for instance, I just not too long ago finished a loan for a fellow who was on the coast. He's a multimillionaire, but all of his money is tied up in land. So he is land rich and cash poor. Yeah, we've seen that with a lot of people. He had a piece of property that he needed to spend $300,000 or $400,000 developing, which he could turn around and sell for several times that. But he didn't have $400,000. But his house was free and clear, and it was a $1 million house.
Yeah.
So we gave him a reverse mortgage, and he was able to pull out several $100,000, which he can use to develop his property, turn around, sell the property, and even if it takes, since he's making no payment on the money that he's borrowed, he's not being hit every month with interest payments from a bank.
Sure.
So he can afford to hold the property for an indefinite period of time, as long as he pays the taxes on it, sell it, he makes a profit, he turns around and he pays off the reverse mortgage.
In that instance, it really is like borrowing money from yourself.
Exactly. You're going to the piggy bank that we all have in our basement, which is called our house.
It's
the equity in our house that we're able to capitalize on. Oh, and that's one of the features of a reverse mortgage. If you get an equity line, which we're seeing more and more people do now, you can pay down the equity line at any time, just like a regular bank equity line, turn around at a later period and borrow it again. So this fellow that over on the coast, once he develops his property, sells it, pays off the reverse mortgage, and I advise them to leave $1,000 in the equity line,
sure,
so there's not zero, so that somebody doesn't push a button and cancel it. But he now has a $400,000 equity line that he can use at any time, as long as he continues to own and occupy his primary residence.
Nice.
Talk about flexibility. Huh?
Absolutely. So it's a great tool for business-oriented people who have a lot of equity in their home. It's a way to pull cash out and use it for purposes other than just to live.
So when you've been responsible and you've collected lots of stuff, and it just so happens this particular stuff was land, and you need to have access to it. And maybe you need access to the equity, as this particular gentleman did, so that he could develop something, so that he could further another endeavor. So,
yeah.
That is cool.
It
Very
works.
good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And that's where my background in finance and accounting and whatnot helps too, because I can talk to these people and I know a lot of them, and so they come to me with these kind of questions.
So if one of our listeners has a question today, just in short, if they have a question, no question's a stupid question, give Rick a call today. Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors at 559-221-5355. Again, 559-221-5355. And Rick would be so happy. And trust me, you'll enjoy working with him. You really, really will. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, or there's a question that you have that you'd like us to address here on the Real Estate Radio Network, it would be an honor. We'd love to be able to be of assistance. If you've got a question about a short sale, how a short sale may affect my credit, or let's say you have a question regarding refinancing my mortgage, or unfortunately, let's say you're one of the few that says, hey, I need some information regarding bankruptcy, and I really don't know where to turn. We'd love to point you in the right direction to one of our trusted professionals. It all starts with one phone call, though. Call us anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us right now on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website and search for your next home. Just go to valleywidesells.com. Again, that's valleywidesells.com. Well, coming up after the break, we are going to talk much more with Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors, and we are going to talk about some of the myths associated with reverse mortgages. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm John Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as we mentioned, we're very fortunate to have, again, Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors here in the studio this Sunday morning to talk with us about reverse mortgages. You know, before the break, Rick, you were giving us an example of someone that actually got a reverse mortgage but didn't quote-unquote need the money. They wanted the money for whatever purpose they had. Give us some other examples of folks that don't necessarily have to have the money, but they wanted the money to do something.
Sure. I met just recently with a couple that are financially independent. They have enough money to continue to live their current lifestyle. They've taken care of their long-term health care needs. Basically, they're comfortable. They own a motor home, and they like to travel, and they wanted to do more traveling, and they also wanted to take some trips outside the United States to Europe and Asia. And if you've done any traveling, you know that can be very expensive. They plan to stay in their home for as long as they can, and after that, they probably move into some type of an extended care facility or something. So they really have no use for their home other than to live in at this point in time. So we did a reverse mortgage for them, and they plan to use their money to travel. They're going to take some extended trips with their motorhome. I think the guy wants to buy a Harley. He didn't tell me, but I think
nor had he told his wife.
That's one of the reasons I think
there's an inference there somewhere.
And they're going to go to Europe. They're going to take some cruises, take some nice vacations, and they're going to spend the equity in their home now, which they don't need in the long term. So they're going to use the money to enjoy their life.
So use that money that's theirs. They're going to borrow against that equity. They're not going to, quote unquote, create another payment. And they're not going to sell their home so that they pull all that cash out and they have to move somewhere else or
pay rent or
do whatever. It's a win-win-win
for them. It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're very happy with it. And in fact, about 2 days after the loan closed, they were gone. So no, they're out enjoying their lives.
Super.
Yeah. No, it's and I'm seeing more and more people who are financially sound, who don't have to have the money, but that want the money to improve their lifestyle. Just recently, I met with some people who they're in their mid-60s. The parents are in their late 80s. And when the parents die, they are going to come into quite a bit of money. But right now, they don't have as much money as they'd like to have. They wanted to buy a place at the coast. And they have a mortgage on their home here in Fresno and could not qualify to buy a home at the coast and have basically two mortgages. So we gave them a reverse mortgage. We paid off the principal residence here in town, so now they're debt-free, and so when they go to qualify for the mortgage to buy the home over on the coast, they have no mortgage debt that they have to worry about. So they basically traded one payment for another payment. And now they're living, now they have that place at the coast, and they're still living in Fresno. And when Mom and Pop are gone, hopefully a long time from now, but
sure,
that will happen eventually, and they're going to come into a lot of money. They can pay everything off.
So this, you kind of touched on something there real quick, and I want to make sure to readdress it. So if someone gets a reverse mortgage, but let's say wants to pull the cash out here to buy a second home on the coast, with the loan on the loan that they're going to get on the second home at Pismo, let's say, and let's say it's a forward mortgage, they're going to have to qualify for it, but they've got sufficient income coming in, but they're going to put a significant amount of monies down, but just not enough. Let's say it's 50% or what have you. but it's not enough to just pay cash for the property. When it comes time for qualifying with the reverse mortgage here, do they only have to qualify with the taxes and the insurances that they're paying?
That's correct, because they make no payment on the reverse mortgage. So
dang it, I got one right.
There you go.
That is amazing. I mean, really, seriously, that was one of those light bulb moments. Sorry, I don't get many of those, but when I
Your eyes are shining.
Yeah, absolutely. That really piqued my interest. So let's talk about do you have another story by chance as far as folks that...
Oh, I've got lots of them. How many do you want?
Just the clean ones today.
No, that's fine. No, one more, just to kind of, if there's anyone out there that's a small business person, there are a lot of small business people around that could use a $200,000 or $300,000 credit line to run their business. And that I've been talking with a fellow now who has a small business. He has a nice home here in Fresno, would qualify for about $250,000 on a reverse mortgage. We can do a reverse mortgage on his home, and that gives him a $250,000 credit line that he can use at any time on his business. And it cannot be canceled as long as he owns and occupies the house. So you go to a bank, he could probably get a credit line from a bank, but you have to qualify every year for it.
Sure.
And if they decide they want to cancel it at any time, they can do that.
Well, if it's late 2007 and they just decide that we are going to cut our risk, they can. It's written into the contract.
Absolutely true. But not with a reverse mortgage.
Wow.
So he would have a credit line, a $250,000 credit line for, again, as long as he owns and occupies his house that he can use in his business.
And what business owner doesn't want the access to cash to give them the flexibility? Because we all know that as far as cash flow is concerned, that there is an ebb and there is a flow. Mm-hmm. And inconsistency is the one thing you can count on in business. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of the myths, facts, potential fiction. Is the money that I receive from a reverse mortgage taxable?
No, because it's a loan. It must be repaid. You don't pay taxes on money that you borrow.
You're borrowing from yourself.
You're borrowing from yourself. And when you repay the loan, the interest that's been accrued is tax deductible.
Don't you love it?
Yeah. Yes. No, I get that question a lot. The income is not taxable, nor does the money that is received from a reverse mortgage affect Social Security. Excuse me.
Man, you beat me to the point. That was my next question. Fact or fiction? A reverse mortgage will affect government benefits.
The answer to that is no. However, with a caveat, it can affect someone who is on Medi-Cal, for instance. If they accumulate too much money, there are limits to how much money a person can accumulate if they're on Medi-Cal, have in the bank. So if they pull out too much money and don't spend it out of their reverse mortgage, it can create problems.
Gotcha.
So we counsel them on that and make sure they go talk to their caseworker, and so they understand the rules, and then we proceed with it.
That's a smart thing, because you put the responsibility on the caseworker, on the consumer to speak with the caseworker.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in that field.
There you go. Can I use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home?
Absolutely. As long as it is your personal residence, it's going to be your primary residence, you can use it in lieu of getting a conventional mortgage. Now, this is something that's relatively new. Before, someone would have to go out and buy a house, and then once they have title of the house, then they would do a reverse mortgage, because a reverse mortgage was only a refinance loan. But now people can use a reverse mortgage as their primary financing tool to purchase a primary residence. But they have to own and occupy, just as though they were doing a refinance loan.
Right. Can I be forced to sell or vacate my home if the loan amount exceeds the value of the home? For some folks, they think that, hey, let's say I'm borrowing 65% of the value of the home, how would that ever happen? Talk about the mechanism real quick as far as a reverse mortgage is concerned.
With a reverse mortgage, number one, you can never outlive a reverse mortgage, and you can never be forced to vacate the home so long as the taxes and the insurance is current and the home is maintained. As long as it's your primary, continues to be your primary residence, you can never be forced out of your home. And then when the time comes to sell the home, if it's upside down, and we've seen that. A reverse mortgage is considered to be a non-recourse loan, meaning that the property stands as full repayment of the loan, and even if the amount of money that's owed is in excess of the home value, FHA will accept the lesser of the loan amount or the fair market value of the house. So that's one of the features of a reverse mortgage, in that if the borrowers live a long time and then they're forced to sell and they owe more money than the home is worth, they can never be forced to come out of pocket to pay off the reverse mortgage.
Now, one of the things you mentioned there, you talked about heirs, those folks that are the potential heirs to your stuff. How important do you think it is to get heirs educated and in the loop with regards to when it comes time for sitting down and discussing? Mom and Pop, they've got a home that's free and clear. It's worth about $250,000. How important do you think it is to get the heirs involved?
Well, we encourage it. I encourage it always to try and get as many family members, accountants, attorneys, whatever, involved in the reverse
whatever they feel
process.
Comfortable with as far as the process is
exactly. And I do have some children that have brought their parents in and are encouraging their parents to do it. A lot of the old timers, and I say old schoolers, I shouldn't say old timers. You know, my parents wanted to own their home. It was very key for them to own their home free and clear, and they wanted to leave something to me.
Right.
My generation, our generation, Craig, doesn't feel that way. We don't really want our parents home, and nor do we want anything from them, and we would rather see them live a comfortable lifestyle today.
Absolutely.
So a lot of children are encouraging their parents to get a reverse mortgage to improve their lifestyle, and they say, look, Mom, Dad, we don't want your money. We want you to spend it now and enjoy your life.
If we could, as an example, cut out $1,000 a month of a $1,300 mortgage payment, let's say, as an example, that would be cutting your expenditures on a monthly basis $1,000. And it can be done with a reverse mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. But a lot of parents are not living life to their fullest now because they want to leave something to their children, and the children don't really want it that much. They'd rather see their parents live a comfortable lifestyle or do what they want to do.
You know, we kid and we joke and we talk about those examples of folks that it may be family that we've seen living this way, and some of my examples are unfortunately quite scary when you see, I considered my dad to be a very logical person, one of the greatest people that I had ever known, super hard worker, but really hadn't planned for his retirement. So when it came right down to it, and he had a small pension and Social Security, but it wasn't a whole lot. So it was unfortunate. Not only was it unfortunate, and he had planned in some ways, but in others, I think he could have planned better. So for those folks that may have planned for retirement, and those folks that had not, because we've covered the gamut here. Those folks that really need to cancel that mortgage payment out because I just can't afford it anymore. But you've got 30, 40, 50%. 60% equity in your property. Or for those folks that maybe really don't need the money, but have some sort of financial endeavor. They want to travel, as the example that you had said, or they want to invest the money, or they want to purchase a motor home and drive the nation. These are things that can be accomplished through a reverse mortgage, and all it entails is borrowing money from your equity.
You're breaking your piggy bank.
You're breaking your piggy bank. Breaking sounds so bad.
I know.
Yeah.
You're turning it upside down.
There you go.
Yeah, and pulling the coins out one at a time like we used to.
Shaking it until your motorhome comes out, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, if you're listening, if you're within earshot of our signal this morning, and you have questions about a reverse mortgage, but you really don't know who to turn to, we have that expert here in the studio just for you. Again, Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages for Seniors. He is our local reverse mortgage expert. You can make a reverse mortgage statewide in the state of California.
In the state of California.
Give him a call, 559-221-5355. Again, give Rick a call, 559-221-5355.
And if you get my answering machine, my cell phone number is listed there. Call my cell phone. I pick up anytime.
Nice.
Nice.
What is your cell phone number? Give it out real quick.
917-7425. That's 917-RICK.
917-RICK. I love it. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or you just want to talk to Rick, give us a call, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go, if you dare. And listen to us right now on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. Go to our website and search for your next home or another home or a second home. But search for your next home at valleywidesells.com. Well, coming up, Bob from Selma asks, my wife and I are getting a divorce. I'm really sorry to hear that, Bob. And I'm wanting to sell our home, which should be a short sale. But my wife is not wanting to sell the home, but it's important to note that she can't afford it. I don't know whether it's she can't afford it or Bob can't afford her to keep it. So what are my options? When we return, we're going to take some listener questions. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate. You're on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
I don't know what it is, but when you start talking about divorce and splitting up, Everybody perks up in the studio here. Poor Bob. Everybody's wondering. Rick's asking, so how's Bob going to get fried after this is all said and done? Well, Bob from Selma asked, my wife and I are getting a divorce, and this is not at Bob's expense. I apologize. And he is wanting to sell his house, and which he says would be a short sale. So he feels that they owe more than what the property's worth. But she is not wanting to sell the home. He says, but it's important to note that she cannot afford to stay in the home. And like I said before the break, no, seriously, John, John's putting his finger down on the console here. Yeah, she can't afford to stay there. And I don't really know whether I wasn't able to get from Bob, is it really that you don't want to pay for her to stay there, or she can't really afford to? Because you realize that, does she have a means of supporting herself, or does she not? And is it going to cause some sort of lump sum 401k distribution because that's what you were to, that's what you came for. That was the solution that she came up with. Well, what are your options? And my first thing is, you may at some point be forced to agree to disagree as far as the disposal of the asset. I don't think the asset is quote unquote, the asset definitely isn't going down in value, so it really, I think time is on your side. This is not 2007 and you're trying to determine whether you're going to sell something that really is rapidly going to be decreasing as far as value is concerned. One of the other questions that I had is, where is he at in terms of the divorce and it being final? If this is the last bit of property that they're deciding on, this might, who knows? If this is the first piece of property that they're deciding on, all things tend to be relative when it comes time for property settlements. So, Bob, I'm going to tell you this. It's not easy in terms of splitting up. It's even more difficult if you have lots of stuff and you have to come to some sort of an agreement. And I would just suggest in today's market, take as long as you need. Really, property values are not decreasing. So take as long as you need and take the time you need in order to get it done. And I'm sure Bob's wife is...
good luck.
And good luck with that.
No, really.
Let me know. I know.
It's always sad.
No, it is always sad. It always sad. It took me 4 years, so.
Took me a year.
Took you a year? Mm-hmm. There you go. How long did it take you, Rick?
28.
28. There you go. There you go. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions on that note, uncomfortable pause, call us anytime, 800-979-3958. Obviously, we're all relationship experts on Sunday. Just call the Real Estate Radio Network, and we'll tell you how to,
Great marital advice here.
Exactly, great marital advice. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us right now on your smartphone. You can also search for your next home at valleywidesells.com. A big thank you. Again, we try to keep it light on Sunday mornings. A big thank you to Rick Ransom with Reverse Mortgages.
Always a pleasure to be here and a lot of fun.
Awesome.
A lot of fun.
Our trusted reverse mortgage provider. Thanks so much. Again, if you have questions about a reverse mortgage, give Rick a call, 559-221-5355. Again, 559-221-5355. Big thank you to Miss Lisa and Johnny B behind the bike. The mics behind the bikes.
Behind the bikes.
Yeah, behind the bike rack. Our goal with Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, a timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you back home. Don't forget to tune in next week at 9 a.m. on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Local news, local talk. Make it a great day, Central California, and we will see you next week.
The preceding is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.